The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
TV party tonight! What? TV party tonight!
Oh, we got nothing better to do than watch TV and have a couple of brews.
Don't want to talk about anything else.
We don't want to know.
We're dedicated to our favorite shows!
Oh, my circuit!
Everybody loves Hippo Toes.
Scary dog!
Blurson and Blurnsville.
Futurama!
Hello, good evening, and welcome to TV Party Tonight. I'm your host, Alexis Hejna, and joining me is Zachary Strobel. Hey, Zach.
Hey, how's it going?
Going good. And tonight we are here to discuss a little mini-series that is 10 million years in the making, or... Oh, crud, I should have done the math on this. What's 2023 minus 1981?
42.
Okay, 42 years in the making. There we go. History of the World, Part 2. This has been announced for a while. I always get this image in my head. Hi, Ruby. Thanks for chiming in.
Hi, Ruby.
That when they announced this, there was just this room of comedians, and someone walked in saying, so we're going to do History of the World Part 2, but we only have so many spots open. And there was just this huge flooding of comedians running in going, oh my God, I want it, or something like that. So, yes, so History of the World Part 2, miniseries that aired on Hulu, brought to us by the Good and Business Incorporated, Brooks Film Limited, and 20th Century Searchlight Television. Again, this is the sequel to the 1991 film.
80.
Which I think many would agree is probably one of Mel Brooks's greatest films, easily. This movie was hilarious, not only starring the Brooks himself, Don DeLuise, Madeline Kahn, Harvey Korman, Cloris Leachman, Gregory Hines, but having cameos from the like of John Hurt, B. Arthur, Jackie Mason, Hugh Hefner, Henny Youngman, and narrated by Orson Welles. Yeah, you just don't get much more legendary than that. So it's a lot of fun because at the end of History of the World Part 1, Brooks teases History of the World Part 2, where we will see the likes of Hitler on ice and a Viking funeral, and of course, Jews in space. Not easy to do that echo. So, of course, we got History of the World Part 2, which just came out. This was, let's see, it was narrated by Brooks. It featured a large ensemble, but we had three main actors who appeared in almost all of the sketches. That would be Wanda Sykes, Nick Kroll, and Ike Barinholtz. So let's, first of all, we're going to go ahead and start talking about History of the World Part 1 and Mel Brooks in general. So Zach, just tell me about, what are your favorite Mel Brooks films? What does he mean to you as a writer, director, actor, comedian?
Well, I own 3 of his videos on video cassette, including the one that he, the prequel to what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. I think he's very funny. What I like about Mel Brooks is I like that he doesn't pick a side. I think he goes after everyone, and I think he doesn't care if you're offended. I also like he has a very vaudeville cartoony sense of humor. Mm-hmm. So I like that as someone who makes cartoons, draws cartoons, and loves puns. But I like that. I also like that there's a little. Sometimes he can be very sophomoric, but also times he can be very intelligent. So I like that he's all over the place, and I love satire. He means a lot to me, and also, yeah, he's a really funny guy. I'm glad he's still around.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I've been a fan of Brooks films myself for years. I've got several on Blu-ray. I've seen the producers, the musical, on stage 3 times in my life, including once in New York on Broadway. Still one of the best experiences of my life. I loved it. I just love his humor. I love pretty much anything he has done. And I still love his quote, "I'm the only Jew to ever make a buck off of Hitler." It's one of my absolute favorite quotes. So yeah, he teases History of the World Part II at the end of History of the World Part I, but from all intents and purposes, it didn't look like he was actually going to make this sequel. It was just a joke. Hence why you get away with something called Hitler on Ice. But yeah, 42 years later, we get it as a miniseries. This was released over 4 nights. When did these episodes air? So over 4 nights at the beginning of March this year. We get a variety of sketches on them, again starring Wanda Sykes, Nick Kroll, Ike Barinholtz. But we have got so many comedic actors coming in here. We got Fred Armisen, Jack Black, Dove Cameron, Ronnie Chang, Danny DeVito, David Duchovny, Jake Johnson, Johnny Knoxville, Jack Schreier, Seth Rogen, Sarah Silverman, JB Smoot, Taika Waititi. This cast is just full to bursting with comedic talent. So we're going to start off talking about the main sketches that take place in History of the World Part II. So again, this is a mini-series, not a movie. Hence why I'm hosting and not Robert, because he runs Hollywood. But even though it's a mini-series, we have a couple of sketches that do take place over multiple nights in various segments. Among them, we've got the Civil War, the end of the Civil War. Let's see here. We have Judas's betrayal of Jesus. We have a long-running bit on Shirley Chisholm, the first Black woman to become a senator and become a contender for the Democratic Party nomination for the U.S. presidency, which is filmed and done in the style of a sitcom. So let's go ahead
and the Russian Revolution. That was kind of like a
and of course the Russian Revolution. So what was your favorite of the main sketches?
Out of the main sketches, it's a hard one. I know my least favorite, even though I still liked it, was the Shirley Chisholm one. Okay. Like that one I liked, but it wasn't my favorite. But that's kind of like the show. Like even the sketches that I didn't like, I mean, I liked the least, I still liked. I liked everything about the show. But to answer your question, let's see. I don't know. I kind of like the humor in the Civil War one.
Mm-hmm.
I think because it was just so like off the wall. It was consistent. Like, I don't know. I also like the Russian Revolution, but I think I like the Civil War a little bit more.
Civil War is probably my favorite too. I absolutely love. We got Ulysses Grant and the son of Abraham Lincoln going behind enemy lines because Ulysses Grant just needs a damn drink. And he ends up getting captured in West Virginia, although I'm pretty sure West Virginia was actually part of the Union, not the Confederacy. And they end up having to be saved by 3 Union soldiers who go on to try to help them. Personally, my least favorite was the second half of the Jesus and his apostles story arc.
Yeah.
The first part I thought was very funny. It's a kind of a Curb Your Enthusiasm style humor. And then halfway through the series, all of a sudden, the story arc becomes a Beatles parody with the idea that it's Jesus and his apostles. Essentially, it's the Abbey Road Studios tapes, but it's Jesus and his apostles, and you got Mary Magdalene as Yoko Ono.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. That's where I kind of lost interest. I have a very controversial take, and I might lose a lot of fans about this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Go ahead.
I cannot stand the Beatles at all.
And with that, I'm going to remove you from the podcast. Been nice knowing you, Zach. I'm kidding. I can't do this alone.
I like their music, but I don't know. I bet they were nice people. Well, half of them still alive, but they seem like especially that point in time, they seem like the most boring people ever. They never seem awake, and I don't know. That's not what we're talking. But it also made it harder to watch that sketch.
I just wasn't a fan of the sudden shift in the humor. I mean, again, you go from Curb Your Enthusiasm to a Beatles parody, and it just didn't work for me that much. You know, it's just I just thought the shift in the comedic tone was too strong. Again, loved the Civil War bit. The Russian Revolution was very funny. Loved Nick Kroll pulling out the most stereotypical Jewish voice he's probably ever heard in his life.
I love his character name, Schmuck Muckman. That was funny.
That was really good.
And I like I forget her name, but the character. I know the actress, Pamela Aden. I haven't seen her in a long time. Like, she normally does voice acting, but like, she's Spinelli from Recess. But but I like seeing her again. She worked off of Nick Kroll really well. Yeah,
that's true. Pamela Adlin, that's it. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Yeah, she is primarily known as a voice actress. She does Bobby Hill in King of the Hill. She was in the Jungle Cubs, the 101 Dalmatians series, Spinelli in Recess.
And if you ever play those video games, the Pajama Sam series.
Yeah, she was in that too. So yeah, it was a little weird to see her in live action because we usually don't do that. But again, that was really great. Loved Dove Cameron as influencer style Princess Anastasia. That was so funny. Of course, we got a quick little Danny DeVito cameo. And yeah, Johnny Knoxville as Rasputin. I still remember watching that. It was like,
just like Danny DeVito, it was short and sweet.
Just killed me though, because I was watching it going, why the hell would they hire Johnny Knoxville to play Rasputin? And then it cuts to the jackass style of, killing Rasputin. I literally sat back and said, well, ask a stupid question. So that was good. I didn't mind the Shirley Chisholm bits. I'll admit the humor was a little lacking in my department. I think I'm just not a huge fan of the forced sitcom setup style. I like sitcoms. I'm not a fan of the idea of the meta sitcom within a sitcom. Something about that it's not as funny. I feel like it takes too much out of the humor. It's too far beyond the fourth wall, if you will.
Thank you, Sonic Boom and 98.
Yes, agreed. Nice cameo choices. Like we said, this film has got so many freaking comedic actors, and we're going to go ahead and talk about them because we're going to discuss the shorter sketches that line the rest of this. We've see here. We have got oh my god, I'm going to totally massacre the pronunciation of his name. What is it?
Bob.
No, it's not Bob. He was awesome recently in Welcome to Chippendales.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I just can't pronounce his name, and it's not listed on the cast list for some reason. We've got him promoting the Kama Sutra as a cookbook.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. I can try. I'll be brave, and I'll try to pronounce his name because he is a really good actor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kumail. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. So Kumail. So maybe we just call him Kumail.
Okay, yeah, but still great bit. I love the idea that comparing the Kama Sutra moves to soups. That was hilarious.
That was funny. I like that because it felt like it was. I like the timing on it because I feel like it didn't. That sketch could have been really stretched out, but I feel like it was like, and it was a very good build up. It was a good delivery and a good execution. I think that's what I really like about this show is also like, and I think this is why I think this show works. I honestly thought the show worked better format wise as a miniseries than a movie because the thing is. The thing about the first film is obviously it worked well. I think it worked in its favor, and I think the people behind it knew how to make it work in their favor. Because because in the first film, well, first of all, I hate to say this, but half the talented people in the original are now dead. Most of them are dead.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, except for Mel, but I think he's gonna outlive everyone.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think they'll just be like the world will blow up. It'll just be Mel Brooks, Keith Richards, and a few cockroaches. But anyway, back to my point. Yes. But back to my point. I think it worked because the thing was with the original film, it was very linear, even though it was very episodic, where it's like they went from beginning of time to the room, like they went in order, and then they would commit to a sketch or an act, if you will. I don't know, like story. I don't know what to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Or period, like a period of time. They would commit, and then once they finished everything they needed to say, they'd move on. So some are shorter than others, and some are longer than others. With this, I think it worked in a miniseries because then it would keep. There was no. It could be as unlinear as it wanted to be, and I think like it was funny because also it was because it was a TV show. I mean, it was streaming, so it would. There would be no way they would ever show this, at least in its uncensored like this. But I like that. I like the fake commercials. That was funny. I actually thought they were so well done. I actually thought it would, because they would cut to an ad, and then I thought it was going to be a real ad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens when you watch it on your phone. But yeah, I liked it. But yeah, I really do.
Sonic Boom Man. This movie is kind of reminding of the Kingsman prequel movie they recently made. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to see that, but I will take your word for it.
But yeah, I liked the movie. I liked it because it didn't feel like. I think that was good because then they could set it up, and I think it worked in its favor. And I like the rapid fire jokes, but it's like, okay, we're going to throw a lot at this. We'll give you a break. We'll go to something else. Well, that will be funny. Then we'll come back to this. I like that. I thought it was smart.
I thought so too. And again, I thought this was a good way to do an overarching plot, again, with some of these specific story arcs, but still have enough filler to actually take over a whole episode without the fans getting bored. We also, let's say, we got William Shakespeare, played by Josh Gad, which is hilarious. That was actually the one.
Casting.
That was actually the short that killed me because I love when he actually he hits the other guy and the guy goes, "Alas, poor Yorick." That's okay. I barely knew him. That just, it's a dumb joke, but damn if it didn't make me laugh crazy hard.
I hate to say this, but the original, as good as it is full of dumb jokes. Like even jokes that are funny but are still pretty dumb. Where it's like, we can't go on the street. They're crawling with soldiers, and they're literally crawling.
Yeah, exactly. I remember
that. It's dumb, but it makes me laugh.
Oh, absolutely. Never seen the movie, but it makes me want a Life of Brian Part 2.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, it could be interesting.
Spoiler, I don't think I know how it ends, but...
So we got that. We got Seth Rogen playing Noah, but all he's gotten is small dogs, and that killed me because I am a huge dog lover, as anyone knows. And I was like, oh yes, I want to know, was arc filled entirely with puppies. That was so cute.
Oh.
So love that. We got Jack Black as Stalin taking a musical number because you do not hire Jack Black and not let him sing. See here.
I liked this was a Yiddish joke. I liked it. I like how instead of Postmates, it was Putzmate. That's funny for those who don't get the joke. In English, Putz means like a moron or a fool or something like that. But in Yiddish, it means unclean male genitalia.
And this is why I brought you on the show, Zach. You are my favorite Jew.
Oh, wait, am I Jewish? Wait, let me check. Yeah.
Gregory Hines would be proud of that joke, man. Bravo. Okay, so what else we got? We got Galileo in a variety of TikTok called Tika Taka. We got Fred Armisen trying to scam people with a pyramid scheme. And I love this. The Oslo Peace Accords, where the factions argue over who created hummus. Because if you actually have read about it, there is no concrete evidence of who created hummus. You know, we know that it came from like the Middle East or the Mediterranean area because of the ingredients. And a lot of countries have said, "Oh no, we created hummus," but there is no evidence that any of them did in fact create it. It's just all of them saying, "No, we created hummus." So the fact that they actually did throw in that joke was great.
Yeah, I've seen that joke before. Like, well, not the exact joke, but in Sausage Party, another Seth Rogen thing. There was there's like hello. I don't know what that was all about.
That was weird.
Don't you just hate it when you're just talking about stuff and then all of a sudden the server goes F you?
Yeah, I have no idea what happened there. Sorry, folks. My screen froze and I was like, wait, am I frozen? Is Zach frozen? I have no idea what's going on. I think I don't know. I think the computer just decided it hated us for a split second. So yes, very, very sorry about that.
I'm not sorry. Anyway, so what I was saying was there was like in Sausage Party where it's like the Jewish bagel and the I forget what kind of ethnicity. It's like a racist ethnicity. So, but it's somewhere in that Middle Eastern area. I don't know. But in the middle of them is hummus though, and they're like, "Do you know hummus? Any friend of hummus is a friend of." And he looks at him. He's like, "Get the F out of here." So, it's kind of, I like that theme, but I like that they made it into a debate. And I think it was the Greek guy who was like, "I think we invented hummus," and everyone's like, "Get out of here."
Yeah, I absolutely love it. We got Greece, we got Israel, we got I lost track of how many countries were in that argument debating over who made hummus, and the fact that the peace accords cannot continue until somebody, gets the evidence that they made hummus.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the other sketches here. We got a running joke with Kubla Khan, who is played by Ronnie Chang of The Daily Show fame, who first appears with Marco Polo, played by Jake Johnson, who I always love to see get work. I think he's hilarious.
I like that Ronnie Chang is also, it's Chang, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like he's getting more work. I liked him in Megan. He was really good.
Oh, yeah, he was really good in that.
Yeah.
That movie is still so surreal. Go check out our review of that, by the way. Plug.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the thing because then what I also liked is when all the like infomercials started, like, well, not infomercials, but like fake commercials. Hello, how's it going? Oh, Arabic lavash. Thank you. That was on the tip of my tongue. Thanks. They were. I like how they like the statue guy, and then they actually all came together. I think that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler, but we always do spoilers.
Yeah, this has never been a spoiler-free zone, folks. Yeah, no, you're talking about the Nick Kroll's infomercial about taking down statues and then replacing them, right? I love how that was done on such a obviously horrible green screen that you could see that they aren't even keying in his clothes and his hair. It's very reminiscent of the mid 90s when everyone thought they could do a green screen. It's like, no, don't bother. But there is a talent to making a digital effect look purposely cheap. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I also really like about Mel Brooks is like he will spare no expense for a joke. Like the production value, and in this production too, he will like go like he'll get like Matte. I don't know how to spell it, Matte.
It's just Matt.
Oh, Matt. Okay, so then I was dumb. It was actually it was the first thing I said. Anyway, it was like Matt artist, like he'll do anything like just to create the environment just for a stupid joke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I think I saw something like about the end of the first like History of the World Part 1 where he was trying to create the Jews in space, and they said they had such a tight deadline, but they spared no expense for that joke.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like it because I feel like even though like you could tell that everything is on a set, it still's a really nice set.
I just love how in the original Jews in Space, it's obvious that the sound effects are stolen from Star Wars. It just kills me. It's like, gee, where have I heard those laser sound effects before? So, but yeah, we got a big thing with Kubla Khan joking about how it's like, I guess it's like a parody of Ancestry.com, where the idea is finding out if you're related to Kubla Khan. This, of course, is a joke that I can't remember the exact percentage, but like crazy huge amount of the world's population is in fact related to Genghis Khan and Kubla Khan, just because of how wide their conquest was and how many women they took back to their pleasure palaces.
You can learn a lot.
And then, of course, we get that with a Real Housewives parody with his concubines, with Kimiko. What's her name? Kimiko Glenn, I think. Kimiko Glenn, another very popular voice actress, playing one of the concubines. And I love they even got Andy Cohen, saying he's Andy Khan, but I'm bummed. And how it ends with all of them promoting their own product lines. That was great.
Yeah, even when it's like cringe, it's still great cringe.
Admittedly, yes. I will say I feel that History of the World Part 2 is a little bit more dated now than History of the World Part 1 is.
How's it dated? It's been like only a month.
But you get what I'm saying. I feel that they were really latching on to more of the zeitgeist and the common denominator for this, which is understandable because that's what people expect in their humor now. But what's always been appealing about Mel Brooks films is that for the most part, his stuff is very timeless. A lot of the same jokes, with the exception of certain jokes on Blazing Saddles and History of the World Part 1 that we are not going to mention on this show because I don't feel like getting yelled at by Mark. But there are a lot of jokes in these earlier movies that still hold up today and are still hilarious. And there's a lot of jokes in History of the World Part 2 that are equally as funny, but I feel that are going to be a lot more dated.
I agree with that.
In the very near future. Again, we have a punked parody.
Yeah, I think this was in production. I don't know how long the production, because remember, this was been in production for 42 years.
Exactly. Yeah, we got that. We've got the Real Housewives parody. And I think that's why we also enjoy some of the longer overarching plots, because those are a little bit more timeless. The Civil War whole segments, I feel, they're going to last forever because those are really timeless jokes and absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
I just love when the guys are playing that song for the Southerners, trying to distract them, and they're just like, this is a freaking freak show, just like through their teeth, just like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah.
Got a great joke with Harriet Tubman actually building a literal railroad underground, and that they actually jumped the turnstile on. Which also leads to my absolute favorite joke. The three Union soldiers who were sent to rescue Grant and Lincoln. It's one white guy, one black guy, one Native American. And the white guy, when he's talking to Harriet Tubman, he says, "What's this I'm feeling?" And the other two go, "White guilt." And he goes, "Well, can you help me process it?" And they both go, "No." I don't know why. That scene just freaking killed me. I loved it.
Yeah. But I think the show also had the advantage of the person they were making. Because the thing was, a lot of people have said that like it doesn't feel like a continuation of part one. It just feels like a big homage to Brooks, and I could see it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, all the arcs of the segments in the original, they all ended. I mean, how do you continue the Roman Empire? How do you continue? How do you continue the French Revolution? You don't. So they just went to other, and that's what I liked about it, because I think out of all the Mel Brooks sequels they could have made, especially with Mel being so old and the cast not being alive anymore, I think this was a good choice. Yes, I'd love to see Spaceballs 3, the search for Spaceballs 2, which is what they were going to call it. But I mean, you can't do it without John Candy and Joan Rivers.
Exactly. So now they do, of course, end with coming soon, History of the World Part II, Season 2. And among those, we get more Jews in space.
That I wanted to see all. I like to see like a whole episode, even a whole series about. Just it looks so ridiculous.
With Schmuck Mudman as the acting captain.
Yeah. Know who they didn't get? Who I thought they should have gotten? I don't know if she's controversial now, but they should have at least asked Tiffany Haddish. She's really funny.
Kind of surprised they didn't. Yeah, she is funny.
She's also African American, and she's also Jewish.
I did not know actually that she was Jewish. You learn something new every day.
Yeah, her dad was an Ethiopian Jew.
Huh, get out. That's cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, but I think Wanda Sykes did a really good job.
Oh, Wanda Sykes is absolutely hilarious. I mean, again, even if the whole Shirley Chisholm story arc is not your favorite thing, and if it's because of the whole sitcom within a sitcom thing, again, I get your point of view and I understand, but she really nailed it. And I just love that there's a subtlety to that performance that Wanda Sykes, frankly, is not known for. But I thought she really did a good job on that. Loved her as Harriet Tubman. You know, I love, the Jews in space thing when she shows up on the ship and Kroll briefly breaks character and he's like, "Wanda, can you be in this?" Because she's the only non-Jewish person on the screen. And to which she goes, "Well, yeah, I'm an executive producer."
Yeah, that's what also I liked. I liked that first of all, I don't know if I said this already because my short-term memory is very small, but I like that the person that we're making the homage for actually was in it, because they did get Mel to produce, to narrate and be a part of it. So I think that was good because he obviously got to be part of it though.
Absolutely. And if you're going to have anyone narrate, I mean, obviously they had Orson Welles narrate. By the way, yes, Sonic Boom in 98, Fourth Wall Break. This show had plenty of those, and they were very well done, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, how do you follow up with having the great Orson Welles narrate? You get Mel Brooks. It's like, it's his baby. You let him narrate it. And I'm with you. It's like, I think it was really appropriate to have him take the helm, especially when what is that? I think when they get to the Hitler on Ice bed and he goes, "Hey, I said no repeats." Because, yeah, although there was at least one repeat other than that, and that was the cave people trying to start fire.
Yeah, I think they just really wanted to make that joke.
Not gonna lie, I was not a fan of that joke. Maybe just because I'm not a huge fan of obvious stoner humor. I don't mind stoner humor, but when you make it that obvious, I thought it was just kind of meh.
I mean, I do enjoy a good pot pie.
Bump. Oh,
Yeah, I don't know why they did it, but at least but like I said, even the ones but at least it was short.
Mm-hmm. And again, that one was weird because they switched tones. You have these 3 cave women rolling joints, and they're trying to start a fire to smoke the joints, and none of them are. They're speaking purely in grunt. They're going like that. But the minute that they light the joints, all of a sudden they are speaking English and they're breaking the fourth wall. Going, it's like, oh yeah, you ever feel like your life's a TV show? Oh yeah, you can see the crew in the reflection of my glasses. And again, I'm just like, okay, so I'm not a huge fan of these shorts when they change the tone that suddenly. I just feel like the humor comes across as too forced.
Yeah, I mean, the only time I think it worked in that case was the part where it's like, we don't like, during the Civil War one, where like, we don't like your type, Yankees, and then you see the Red Sox fan.
Yeah,
he's obviously from the modern time, and then they're just like, dude, we're trying to make a sketch. And I also kind of like that it cut straight to commercials, so that was a good way. It was just the delivery, and I think even that commercial cut actually helped the joke.
Mm-hmm. But even then, that got weird because he appears later in the Judas sketch at the end of the Jesus and his 13 Apostles tapes. When he just suddenly comes in and starts yelling at Nick Kroll as Judas. It's like, again, it was kind of funny when he showed up in the Civil War because of the juxtaposition. But now he's back. I'm like, so what are you doing back here? Did you just really not want to leave the set or something?
Oh, this is actually pretty funny. It's a little bit of Mel Brooks trivia. I don't know when I'm ever going to bring this up again, so I'll try to keep it short.
All years.
Did you ever? So spoiler at the end of Blazing Saddles, there's a scene where everyone's running out of the Warner Brothers lot, and there was this guy, and you could see it in any copy of the movie. It's not like edited out. There's this man on the right side of the screen, and he's in like this really purple sweater. And I know it's purple. It's so purple that I'm colorblind, and I know it's purple. And he is just standing, and Mel's like told him to leave. He's like, fine, I'm leaving. And then in the movie, he's still there. It's like all this, and there's so much chaos going on. So maybe it's just, you just ran with, maybe it's like a sister joke to that.
There were actually a lot of, I don't want to say reused, but there were a lot of sister jokes from previous Mel Brooks properties that show up in this. The two that really came to my mind is with the Russian Revolution. We have Nick Kroll and Pamela Adlin, I can't pronounce her name anymore, repeating a joke from the producers. When Schmuck is laying on the ground and his wife is jumping, she's got her legs on each side of him, and she's jumping up and down, yelling at him. And he's like, "You're gonna jump on me! You're gonna jump on me! I'm hysterical! I'm hysterical!" She slaps him. I'm in pain, and I'm still hysterical. That is a classic joke from the producers. And then you got Jason Alexander coming in as the notary to sign the peace treaty between the North and the South in the Civil War. And he turns around and when he's standing at the fireplace, and he says, "Why didn't anyone tell me my ass was so big?" I'm like, obvious joke from Spaceballs.
There was one joke where I thought I could guess the punchline, and then there was no punchline. Like, there was one joke where I forget the 100% context of it, but I remember it's like, I've been watching Fireplaces, and then I thought, and then the other person responded. He said, "Oh, I've been watching Rivers," and I thought the joke was gonna be, "Oh, one of those streaming channels." That's what I thought it would be, but then it just kind of ended.
Yeah, doesn't he say something like, "It gets better at the end" or something like that?
Yeah. I thought mine. And it would have fit with the show's tone, but that's just one out of like a million jokes that do land.
Yeah. No, I thought that was an okay joke. But you're right. There are a handful of jokes here that just, the punchline is, there is no punchline.
Yeah. But the thing about this show is, and like this kind of humor, like the Mel Brooks fast-paced humor, where it's like, it won't dwell on a joke. Like, it'll just keep moving on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
They're just so rapid fire. Like, if it didn't work, whatever. Maybe the next one will, or maybe the next 3 don't in the same minute. Maybe the other one, because obviously there's more precedent over the jokes than the story and characters. At least, yeah.
I'm trying to see if there's any others. Oh, you mentioned on Facebook the Alexander Graham Bell joke.
Yes, that I think was my favorite one. It was so stupid, but it was so immaturely funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I forget. It was like something about like, if you're my, it's like, who is this? Your mother. If you're my mother, what's your last name? Bell. It is my mother. I mean, that's stupid, but the delivery and just the way it's shot, it just makes it so funny.
Mm-hmm. And we also had there was also the Typhoid Mary live stream joke. That actually did make me laugh pretty hard. I was like, I love the detail of watching the view count just plummet as she keeps, doing everything she's doing. Not to mention, I think in this day and age, after we're dealing with the pandemic, I think something like that is just freaking hilarious.
That's what I liked about it, because the thing is about the I think the last Mel Brooks, at least theatrical movie, the Dracula, I think it didn't feel like this. Felt like a return to form, like something like the original History of the World or something like Spaceball. Like, it felt like in that same vein of humor. Mm-hmm. I know it was Mel Brooks and 15 other people, but I think they really did a good job. I mean, I know some friends who really didn't like this, and when they didn't like it, they like passionately didn't like it. I'm like, did we watch the same thing? I mean, this is really funny. I like this.
There were a lot of people who genuinely didn't like this. They said that it did not feel like classic Mel Brooks. And part of that, I have to point out, is that, yeah, Mel Brooks was, part of this, but, he was all, a lot of these sketches were not written by him. He certainly didn't direct them. Barinholtz and Sykes and Kroll and several, Mel Brooks had a hand in all of it, but there were tons of other writers on this, and he certainly didn't direct any of these. Majority of these were directed by either the 3 cast members we're talking about or someone named Alice Matthias. So there's, it's like, of course it's not going to feel exactly like Mel Brooks because it's not entirely his work. And when you have that many cooks in the kitchen, you're going to get something a little different. And we got a question here. They're making Spaceballs 2 if Dark Helmet's actor is involved. I forget his name. Rick Moranis. Actually, I've been hearing Rick is coming back more into acting. He took time off, if I am remembering correctly the story that I read. He took time off to raise his daughter as a single parent. He wanted to make sure that she was, she had a great life, and he wanted to take care of her. But yeah, I've been hearing that he's trying to get back into acting, and if he is, God bless him. We want to see him come back. If what we saw with Brendan Fraser at the Oscars is any indication, we do love us a good comeback story. So Rick Moranis, we would love to have you back in Hollywood, man. You were hilarious. You were a great actor. We would love to have you back. I would love to have you back as a Dark Helmet, of course.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Especially now would be a good time with all the, I mean, not now, I mean, maybe like a few years ago, with all the Star Wars reboots and everything. Like, they could really like make fun of that, where it's like, if they make, like, I could picture in my head, like, they make a joke where it's like, this looks awful. It's like, it's a special edition. Like something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, Mel Brooks.
Oh, you said something about, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, go ahead.
You said something about baby yogurt. Like, why was that never a thing?
Was I the one that said baby yogurt, or was that someone else who said baby yogurt? Someone on Facebook mentioned, it's like, why have we not capitalized on this with a baby yogurt joke? Because, yeah, the writing does kind of but that actually does bring up a good point. Mel Brooks, God love him, the man is 96 years old. He's going to be 97 in June. The fact that he is still walking and sane, you know, and sane, not insane, and sane, in my opinion, is divine act of God, if anything. Do you think we're going to get any more projects out of him, or do you think this was kind of his curtain call, if you will? I mean, I'm not saying I don't want more stuff from Mel Brooks, but if anyone deserves to rest and enjoy retirement, I would say it's him.
Yeah, I think I think this is, and also it's a great love letter. Like, I think it's like a good, like, if he says, like, I don't want to do any, because we haven't seen anything from him. I think the only thing we saw from him before this point was the, I hate talking about this, the Spaceballs animated series, which sounds good, but it really wasn't good.
No.
Like, they didn't understand, even though Mel was writing and starring in it, it was like, no. This at least feels like its own thing, even despite being a sequel.
Yeah, and we have gotten several musicals out of him. We got The Producers on Broadway, which won several Tonys and ran for a long time. Again, I saw it 3 times on stage, once in New York, once in West End in London, and once here in Kansas City. It's got to be my favorite musical of all time. It's hilarious. You know, he tried to catch lightning in the bottle again with the Young Frankenstein musical, which did not do as well. But you know, that's not the kind of stuff he's going to be remembered for. And that's the thing you love about Mel Brooks, is that, yeah, he's made a few projects like Spaceballs, the animated series and stuff, where people are kind of rolling their eyes going, oh, yeah, don't remind me of that. But he has made so many wonderful, amazingly hilarious things that it doesn't matter if some of his projects never got off the ground or just didn't really work for us. We don't care, because that's not what we remember. You know, everyone has their favorite Mel Brooks project. Everyone has their favorite of his movies. Everyone has their favorite of his characters. And I think that's such a rarity for someone like him to have created so much that so many people love, that even his negative stuff, we don't care.
Yeah. But yeah, I also, like, I think is I agree with also some, like, I feel like it took, like you said, like, the original is very, I mean, obviously there's a lot, I wouldn't say timeless, because there are a lot of politically incorrect, but that goes for every Mel Brooks movie pretty much. But I do, I feel like this one also wanted to capitalize, like, hey, because the thing is, a lot of kids, like, and I don't say kids. When I say kids, I mean like young adults. Like, they want to attract that crowd too. Like this is also a pretty good introduction to his other stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, like, as much as I love history, like the movie's 42 years old. I mean, it's not. I'm not going to say it's old. But it's not recent.
Very true.
Okay, fine, it is old, but still.
It's older than both of us, man.
But it's old. When I say old, I mean it's old in, like, old as in, like, fine wine, when I say that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, you're trying to get, like, young adults into something that's 40 years old. That's as old as their parents. And sometimes you got to do that, like, even like stuff like Looney Tunes or Mickey Mouse or whatever. Like, they, like, or even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like you gotta bring something back, like, or you gotta update it a little bit with a new project. And I think they were trying to do that with this though. That's why there's so many jokes to TikTok and social media and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought they were funny.
I did too. So yeah, you think this may be the final thing we see out of Mel Brooks?
I hope not, but even if it is, it's a great love letter end project to go out on.
If it's not, what do you think the better chances are that we're going to see? Are we going to see History of the World Part 2 Season 2? Or are we going to see Spaceballs 2 The Search for More Money?
I don't think we're going to see either. I'm going to be frank with you. And honestly, I don't think we need either one. I think it was... I honestly think... I don't know if they can recapture this again. Because, I mean, where do you go from this?
Very true. And I think we're in agreement that the day that Mel Brooks does finally, leave this world.
Which will be never.
Yeah, no kidding. Like you said, I think
watch this video date. I dated the video.
Yeah, let's get. Dear Lord, can you please keep Mel Brooks and Dick Van Dyke alive? Those are the only two people still holding our planet together.
Hey, you know what? He was in a car crash and he survived. So at least he's got Dick Van Dyke. At least,
yeah.
At least there's got to be that does give you a sense of hope.
I heard someone once say they think that death came for Dick Van Dyke and he just still got up and went to work anyway. Just like that's just the kind of person he is. He's just like, I'm not. It's like, you're dead. No, I'm not. Bye. And he just went off and did his own thing.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of this, my videotape, which I've been using, which I'm getting very much mileage out of this prop, by the way. And
I was going to say, you are the only person I know that still plays VHSs. This is hilarious to me.
Yes, and look at this. These are two words that don't exist anymore. Fox Video.
Okay, anytime you come to Kansas City, I need to take you antiquing with me because several of the antique malls around here actually sell collector's edition VHSs.
All right.
You're the only person I know with a working VHS.
Oh, this thing is bare. I mean, I'll see if I can show it. Yeah, there it is right there. Dude, this thing is like drop my microphone. Earpiece. I call the microphone a this thing is like almost indestructible. I say almost because if you drop a bowling ball on it or an anvil, it will break, but yeah, she should meet Waddle. Yeah. Waddle has a VCR. He's a cartoon duck on YouTube, and I've done some cartoons with him.
Nice.
And I've actually been over his house in Screwy Forest, and he's really cool.
Very cool.
But yeah, the thing was I put it in storage, and the storage container was. And the thing about Arizona is during the summer it gets into triple digits, and I don't mean like 101, 102. I mean like 112.
Mm-hmm.
And this was in a little I left this in the blazing sun for like a month.
Oh my god.
And I was like, because it's a DVD combo player too. It's I don't know. So I turned it on and it worked. So these things are made to I mean, I challenge you to find a Blu-ray player that could do that. Because I will be sad if I can't watch my Mel Brooks.
Your VHS player apparently has the same lifeline as Mel Brooks. It's just still hanging on.
Yeah, and the thing is, the reason I got this, guess how much I got this for?
I shudder to ask.
I've got it for 400 pennies. $4.
You feel good about that?
I do, because there's this place in Arizona. It's like there's like 3 of them, and they sell VHS players, VHS tapes, and they make sure they work, and they only sell them for like between $2 to $10. I found some really good stuff. Like the thing about me is I'm not a collector. I'm very practical. Like if there's a video that's like $1,000, but I'll never watch it, I won't get it. But this I'll get because I like watching it, and I can watch it again. So I mean, I found an original Star Wars VHS tape from the '80s, which doesn't have all that CGI stuff in it.
Oh, you've got it pre-Lucas meddling, huh?
Exactly. I think it was from 1980. I'm going to say 7. So, because any version of it after 1997, then it becomes a special edition every copy.
Yeah, Lucas refuses to admit that the pre-90s remastered edition even exists. He's just like, nope, I don't want to ever think about it again.
Yeah. But but coming back to this, I also have Young Frankenstein 12 Chairs. And the thing about it is they're not very expensive, and the thing about it is you never know if it's going to be there next time, but I saw Blazing Saddles one there, and I was like, maybe, I don't know, and then I was gone.
Aww. Yeah. So did you say History of the World Part 1 is your favorite of the Mel Brooks classic movies, or what is your favorite?
That's a good question. I think my favorite would have to be, I think it would just be Spaceballs, just on the fact that it's like a movie that I just love watching over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if that makes it the best, but I think it makes it the best because that's the one where if you put out all the movies, I'd say like, okay, I want to watch that one right now.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Like there are other ones like this. I like this movie, but it's like I wouldn't like watch it all the time. I don't know how Spaceballs got a PG rating. Like I know it was 80s, but they dropped.
Yeah, didn't it come out before the PG-13 rating?
Oh, it came out long after.
It did?
Well, not long after, but like 2 years after. But they dropped the F-bomb.
I have no. Yeah, I thought it was PG-13 because they do drop the F-bomb once.
Yeah.
See,
maybe they really wanted kids to see it. What's your favorite?
Oh, easily Young Frankenstein. And I do love History of the World Part 1. It's right up there in my favorites, but I think my love of Halloween and horror will always have me loving Young Frankenstein.
Yeah. I do like a lot of his underrated works too. Like I love Silent Movie. I love Silent Movie doesn't get as much love, and it really should. I like Silent Movie. I like High Anxiety. That's a good one.
Oh yeah.
They actually wanted to shoot. I like the studio at Fox. Like he was just like they gave him. I like how he got so much creative control, Mel Brooks, so fast. Where it's like where they were like scared. Like he went from Warner Brothers, then he went straight to Fox, where he stayed for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he made Young Frankenstein, Silent Movie, History of the World. Then he kept flip flopping around. But anyway, the point of this I'm trying to say is like they were just like, I'm gonna make this movie in black and white. And then everyone's like, no one's gonna see it in black and white. And then it's like, I'm gonna get rid of all the sound. I'm like, you can't get rid of all the sound. I mean, at least it was in color, but I can always watch it on a black and white TV. I do not have one of those.
I was about to ask. I was. Well, I think we've covered everything. I mean, I hate to say it. This is when it's hard. This is why it's so hard sometimes to cover a movie, a TV show, a miniseries where the general consensus is we love it. Because there's just so many times we can go back and say, oh, that was funny. Oh, that was funny. Oh, that was funny. Yeah, it's much easier to do a show where we didn't like it. Because then you've got a lot more to talk about.
I think this is like the first time I've ever been, besides the Pinocchio review, I think the only time we have ever been on this channel that we've had positive, because I think everything else has just been okay or mediocre.
Pretty much.
And I like it when we watch something we like.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is the first time we brought you on since Del Toro's Pinocchio. Because we had you on for both Pinocchios, and we loved Del Toro's. And then we watched Robert Zemeckis's, and you and I both threw stuff at the TV.
Yes. Yes.
All right. But yes, so Mel Brooks's History of the World Part II is currently streaming on Hulu. Again, it's 8 half-hour episodes. It's really hilarious. If you're a fan of Mel Brooks stuff, even if you're not a fan of Mel Brooks stuff, go check it out. It's really great. It's got some of the best comedic talent working in it. It is definitely worth seeing. You know what? While you're at it, go check out his other stuff. A lot of his movies are streaming on HBO Max and Hulu. I can't remember, but I know that History of the World Part 1 was put on Hulu for a while before Part 2 came out, probably because somebody over at Disney said, well, maybe we should actually, put this on Hulu so we don't have
Yeah,
so
I
many
saw it on
people
there.
going, what the hell are we doing?
Trying to find it on VHS, like me.
Yeah, good luck with that. So, yeah, go ahead and check it out. It has got both of our seals of approval. Mr. Strobel, why don't you tell us where else we can find you?
Well, I mean, I do have a YouTube channel on Instagram. Unfortunately, I don't make any more videos or posts on there, but you are welcome to watch my old videos and cringe along. That is youtube.com/OozeToons, OOZETOONS. Or if you want to see some more of my modern stuff and help support me, I actually write children's books on Amazon. All you have to do is you can do this two ways. One, you can go to Google. I know, never heard of it either. Go to Google and just type in Zachary Strobel Books, my name, which is right there. Type that in, or you can do the exact same thing, but this time on Amazon.com. We've got lots of great books, and Alexis has actually helped us with some Photoshop work. So some books include our ever popular Dinosaurs on the Moon, Deborah the Substitute Teacher, its prequel, Deborah the Retail Worker, other stuff that's really cool, Grand Prize Beagle. If you want to see some more of my cartoony, weird sense of humor, like not like a children's book, I mean, it's okay, but it's called Warren Lane. That's also on Amazon. I have a MySpace.
Wow, you really are committed to the old stuff.
No. But yeah, that's where you can find me. And on this wonderful channel.
All right. We will have Mr. Strobel back to discuss the Super Mario Brothers movie that is coming out. Wow, really good timing on that prop, man. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to have him back to talk about that because nothing animated gets discussed on this channel without me and Zach. I will also be returning for Damn You Hollywood next week for the discussion on Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. Looking forward to that. And after that, I will also be coming back for the discussion on Renfield. Nicolas Cage's Dracula, folks. What else do we need to say? As far as the plugs here that actually do pay the bills, I am running Honeysuckle Rose Creations, where fashion meets fandom at the intersection of geek and chic. We just got finished with Planet Comic Con and LPL Con, had a great success with both. We're actually taking a little time off this month. We usually do shows in April, but this year the schedule just didn't really work in our favor, so we decided to take this month off to restock, work on a handful of things, get our financial planning done, because I am not waiting to the last minute to get my damn taxes done this year. But we will be heading to Indianapolis the first weekend of May for Indiana Comic Con. Now, we've done Indy Pop Con before. We've never done Indiana Comic Con, so looking forward to that. That'll be our next big show. As always, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and under duress, Twitter. That's Honeysuckle Rose Creations, the intersection of geek and chic. So for myself and Mr. Strobel, thanks for joining us. Be well, behave, be safe, and we will hopefully see you all too in Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money.